Howdy. Hee-haw, hee-haw. Boy, there's a flashback I wish would leave my head. But anyway, Dodge Challenger 2014. If yours look like this, sorry. Well, here's how to fix it. Well, first talk to the knuckleheads over there at Dodge. If they'd have left this seam sealer out of here, all that water that collects in here from the hole that's normally here just sits in there and just gets all this expandable foam, which should never be in there, soaking wet to where it just rots this whole thing. If they'd have let the water drain out of there, this wouldn't have happened. And this is the only place they put the seam sealer. So I don't know what them guys are thinking. But anyway, first thing you got to do is plug up these holes, which I'm going to be showing you how to do. Because you can see the rust already starting around this one. All that water just goes in that hole and just fills up this cavity right here and just rusts it all to kingdom come. So what I'm doing here is this line here is where this panel is going to be overlapped. I don't know if you can see that right there. I took a crimping tool and crimped that end right there, and it'll sit flush. So just this is the line for the actual piece that I'm putting in there. That's the size of the piece. And this was actually taken off the bottom of the left front fender because it got into a wreck in the front there. So we just cut out the bottom of the fender. I'm going to plug this hole up. So that's the actual size of the piece. So you want to take a 1/4 inch piece of tape and just go on the inside of that line all the way, and that'll give you your proper cutting length so that you can crimp it like this, and you'll have plenty of metal for that to sit right there on that edge, sit flush, and you won't have to utilize a whole bunch of Bondo and cause more rust problems. So I'm gonna get to it. Now I'll be back. Well, here we are. I didn't have any 1/4 inch tape, so I just drew my 1/4 inch line, got as close as I could, nibbled it out. And so now you want to, before you crimp it, you want to grind this paint off. Once you crimp it, it's going to be harder to grind that. So once you've got your pattern there, because this is the piece here, it's going to go on there. And once you've crimped it, it'll sit nice and flush in there. But before you crimp it, like I said, go ahead and grind this paint off. So that's what I'm going to do now. So this is the crimping tool that I was talking about. You can get one pneumatic, or you can also get a handheld one. So it's going to put an offset on it for me. So this is how we use it. Set it up in there, keep it as straight as possible. Pull the lever. And there you go. There's your recess. It allows you to put that in there and set it nice and flush all the way around it. Here you may not be able to, so you have to make a cut right here so that you can take this piece of metal and move it inward. This will sit on there, nice and flush. And like I say, you gotta see, you have to cut this here so that you can do your recess manually, and then this will sit flush in that groove. Also, inside here, I'm gonna put some rust arrestor, clean this up a little bit, put some rust arrestor in there, stop that from rusting. So I've made my cut there. And you want to cut, when you have a line like this, a body line, you want to make that cut right on the body line. And then take your hammer and tap all this area down here. Same thing over here. Make the cut on the body line. And then tap this area in. And this is how she'll fit. Just like a glove. Nicely recessed. Won't need a whole lot of Bondo. And no one will ever know that this was a big hole. So now I'm going to glue this panel on there. And first off, you want to make sure that it's as flush as possible first. And then, as you see here, I've got a hole for a rivet. That's going to hold it in place while I heat it up to cure it, the 8115. I wanted to put another rivet over here on this side, but just not enough metal. So test fit it first. Make sure that it's nice and sits nice and flush. All right. And now we'll put the 8115 on each surface. And the reason I like 8115 is because you can heat this stuff up and it doesn't damage it. Of course, unless you get it too hot. But generally, if you heat it up just the right amount, not too hot, it cures really quick, and you can hold this panel in place. And as you know, I've also used this on repairing bumper covers. It's a very versatile type of bonding adhesive. The reason why they came out with this stuff, especially up north, is so that when you bond your quarter panel, say, and especially at the wheelhouse, it won't rust. Because anytime that you weld something on, you've got a hot spot on the back side, and that's just going to sit there and rust. So this prevents rust because it bonds to the metal completely. Doesn't allow any water to get underneath of it or nothing. So it's a really good material. And like I say, it's versatile. You can use it on plastic also. So get your panel adhesive on both sides. Also getting it on the panel itself. You want to cover all your bare metal. Any kind of bare metal you got on the back of your plate or panel that your repair panel, be sure to cover up all that bare metal. Because you don't, of course, don't want it rusting. It's a good idea to have some gloves on because this stuff is messy. Once you get that glue on there, you want to take and kind of work it around with your finger especially on the edges up inside there. Make sure there's no exposed metal anymore. And plus it ensures that you're completely covering that surface. And do the same thing on your panel. Get it worked in really good. All the edges. Oh, my glove broke. Yeah. And then as it goes on there, because I've got a rivet here that's a guide, not only a guide, but it's going to hold it while it dries. And any kind of areas where it's not flush, as you're heating up, just push it in. Hold it in with like a screwdriver. Like over here, I think there's a little bit of a gap that I don't like. So as I'm heating it up, when you're pushing it in up against the panel, what a good that glove did. Okay, so get this panel on there. I know that hole is in there somewhere. There it is. Okay. And then these rivets, you can grind them off, fill that hole in with some 8115. Okay, there's that. Like I say, as you heat it up with the heat gun, like I say, I wanted to get a rivet on this other side here, but wasn't enough metal. So if that's the case, just take and get a screwdriver, one that'll get you far enough away from the heat. Get you a closer view. And just push it in. And that's another thing I like about, like I say, about 8115 is you have the ability to heat it up, and it doesn't, of course, make sure you're lined up with the body line that you want there. Yeah. And then take your heat gun and just start heating it up. I generally stay about 5-6 inches away. Just slowly heat it. You don't want to boil it or bubble it off of there. Just slowly heat it up, putting pressure on the part so that it stays where you want it. And that's another reason for putting your 8115 on both sides of the part, on the vehicle and the part, because then those two will bond together very easily and you'll have there's no gaps in the glue.
Guaranteed bond. Now on that other end there towards the back where the rivet's at, it doesn't fit quite flush. So I'll be doing the same thing over there. Usually takes about 5-6 minutes or so. A nice heat gun. And every once in a while I'll check it and see. It gets real runny until it cures. So like I was saying, on this other end here, if you notice that it's not flush, it's too far out, just push it in. See that? Push it in. Cure it with some heat. Keep steady pressure on it until it cures. If you get closer to it like I'm doing, just keep moving it, move the heat gun faster. So it heats it up a little quicker, yeah, but you don't want to bubble it off of there either. Then it won't make a proper bond. And just keep checking it as you go. If it gets gummy and hard, then you know it's good. That's it. So it's cured on the outside, but not on the inside, so keep steady pressure on it. Keep her pretty warm. And once you have it set, then you can take and put some more glue on the outside here, almost like Bondo, because you definitely don't want Bondo on this surface, on top of bare metal, because Bondo tends to attract moisture, so you'd be starting all over again as far as that goes with rust, whereas this stuff bonds directly to the metal and doesn't allow any moisture to get underneath of it. And then if you still need filler because it's high or low or whatever the case may be, you can do that because you've got this layer of 8115 on the surface to help protect from moisture. And then just spread this stuff out like you would Bondo. Sand it down like you would Bondo. It's another reason why I love this stuff. I've tried other bonding adhesives, but they're not as user friendly, not as user friendly as this 8115 is. Not as versatile. Shall we see? It's hard to believe that that coronavirus is still out there, but wow, it is. And it's tough. Oof. Nobody's dying from it anymore, which is good, but wow, it's some tough stuff. And I just spread this stuff out like Bondo. And sand it down like Bondo. And there you go. So that's the idea. Nice solid piece of metal again. And like I say, as long as this panel that you use, as long as you've got 8115 on the back side of it, as well as on the new panel, the existing panel, even if moisture does get in there, it won't reach the metal because the metal on the inside is not bare. It has the 8115 on it. So this turned out really nice. Quite happy that I had that old fender because this was just perfect. Exactly what I needed. So that's the idea. And then you can take one thin coat of 8115 and cover the bare metal there, and then use your Bondo, and it's a done deal. So this is the way to permanently take care of rust so it won't come back, and your customer will be happy, and if you're doing it yourself, you'll be happy. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and if you have any comments, appreciate it. Well, happy trails.